it won't affect anything that happens in this video today. This will be a 50-minute video, as always. As you keep me company while I do my cardio. Again, I appreciate anyone who's watching, anyone who leaves a comment, anyone who likes, of course, anyone who subscribes to this channel. I realize that this is not the most entertaining thing to watch, and I apologize for that, but I'm kind of spoiled when it comes to this. I'm selfish, that's probably a better word. Because this is what I need to do to get through my cardio every morning. So I make these, and I've been putting them on my Facebook Live group, but I said, well, why not make it as a YouTube Live instead? This way I can share it with all of my subscribers. So this is very therapeutic for me. I live abroad, I live in the Philippines, I've lived in China, I've lived in Cambodia. And while I do come across people who speak English, and English is officially the second language here in the Philippines, I've never really come across too many people who I can speak to in depth. Definitely not here where I live now. So, this is my way of expressing myself in more than just a basic way. So it helps me through cardio, and it is my form of therapy. So it's a win-win. The last time I did this video, I got, I don't know what peak concurrence means, but it said that I had 80 of those. But it also said I had 8 viewers. I was hoping the 80 meant 80 viewers, but that's okay. Because even 8 viewers is more than what I get on my Facebook group. And then I can just share the link with this video into my group. So again, it's a win-win. Yeah, I always start off with the scale. Yesterday, 83.3. Today, back down to my lowest of 82.6. That's been my lowest. I haven't broken that yet. And I am surprised because I did increase my egg total for the day. Well, not for the day. Actually, it was maybe a little bit less. But for the my omelet, normally I do 4 egg whites. But I did yesterday because there was 1 egg sitting there in the egg tray left. So I said, all right, I did 4 egg whites and 1 whole egg. Later in the day, I did have a bag of chips, but everything else was pretty much the same. Sort of dropped that much weight, over half a kilogram. It's a testament, I guess, to the exercise, to the cardio, and to the weightlifting, because I actually ate more food throughout the course of the day and lost a very significant chunk of weight, in my opinion. So yesterday was Saturday, so I did back and biceps. And let's just jump ahead. Everything. Hello, good morning. Thank you. Thank you for that kind word. I can't see the name from here, otherwise I would reach it personally. But I am just so far away from my phone, and this tilt is bothering me. It's taking everything in my power not to get off the bike and adjust the camera. So I get back in biceps. Every single exercise met my standard for increasing the weight for next week. And I have very specific criteria on almost every set. As I go from 12 reps to 10 reps to 8 reps to 6 reps. 6 is my minimum. So when I can do 7 reps, that's my cue to increase the weight. And I did that on every exercise yesterday. I did 7 exercises. 7? 6. Yeah, 6, I'm sorry. I normally do 7 or 8, but with the biceps, I do 2 supersets, so it's only 2 in number, but in reality, it's really 4 sets overall. Anyway, so I started out with the T-bar row. 4 sets, each set heavier than the previous set. I am ready to move up. And then I move to the high row. It's morning where I am, sir. I'm in the Philippines. I am 13 hours ahead of the east coast of the United States. Then I moved on to the high rows, and not each, the first set, the second set was 20 pounds heavier from the first set. But then from there, everything else was 10 pounds heavier. And I got out 8 reps, when I only needed to get 6 to hit my minimum, 7 to advance. Then I switched the bar over and I did the lateral pull downs. Same thing. Well, not exactly the same thing, I'm sorry. Instead of jumping 20 pounds from first to second set, I jumped 10. So each set was 10 pounds heavier than the previous set. Also hit my numbers. Followed it up with, wow, thanks for the likes, people. I really appreciate that. I'm glad I moved this live session to YouTube instead of my Facebook group. Excellent, thank you. And then I finished up with the wide grip supinated pull downs. Same thing. I did 8 when I only needed to do 6. So those are 4 back exercises, and all 4 of them I exceeded my minimum requirement, which means that they will be heavier next week. I've been making some great strength gains over the last 2 months, more so in the last month than probably in years. I've increased the weight before, and I may have even lifted heavier, but I was not lifting properly. I guess that's one of the benefits of training here at a home gym. I'm not trying to impress anybody. And I don't post my weights on social media, despite the fact that almost every time somebody goes, how much do you bench? How much do you squat? I do the proper amount to grow muscles, to promote hypertrophy. For me, that's how much I do. Well, what's your 1 rep max? I wouldn't even know. I haven't tried that in years, maybe decades, because that helps me in 0 way. What does somebody who's trying to grow muscles need to do a 1 rep max? It does not help. In fact, the only thing that you can get out of it is injury. It does not help build muscle. 1 rep does not promote hypertrophy. You need to be in the 6 to 12 rep range for the most part. All right, well, maybe it'll make you stronger. I don't really feel that way either. Powerlifters, strongmen, they don't train for 1 next reps. They don't train with 1 rep maxes. They do 3, 4, maybe up to 6 reps. Granted, their events are based on 1 rep, but they don't train doing 1 rep max. That's exactly my point. Yeah, thank you. So what I'm trying to do is challenge myself. I'm not competing against anyone. I'm not even competing against myself. I'm challenging myself. there's a slight difference there. And, I've been training for 35 years, but for at least 25, I dare say 30 of those, I was training wrong. Just trying to lift as heavy as I possibly could. Now, the last element of my training is the weight. First for me is technique and form. Then tempo. I have a specific pace that I like to employ. Push it up in control, hold it or squeeze it, contraction is what it's really called, hold it for a pause, so it's up for a pause, hold for a pause, come down for 3 beats. So, up, hold, back. And then, that's where changing the weight comes in. And the only reason I change the weight is to mark progression. Yeah, dumbbells are fine. I don't have a good set of dumbbells currently, so I've kind of phased them out of my routine. Except for, I do a standing calf raise with 1 dumbbell. Actually, I'm jumping ahead, but since you brought it up, I'm debuting an old technique, an old device here. I haven't used this in a long time. But when I was doing the lateral, the calf raises with 1 dumbbell, I got tremendous bruising and pain in this finger from squeezing. So I've got my little hook clinic here. I'm going to try that. I think that I can hold the dumbbell in the hooks and get the benefit of the weight without having to squeeze and hurt my fingers. Now these come English teacher in sets of 2, and they're very versatile. But I didn't want to become too dependent on them. But you can use them for deadlifts. You can use them for barbell rows. You can use them for Romanian deadlifts. You can use them for lateral pull-downs. Some people might even venture to use them for bicep curls, but I think it just gets in the way. It's uncomfortable for me. But yeah, I stopped using these a long time ago. But I just saw a video yesterday, and all of a sudden a light bulb went off over my head. You can use those for the dumbbell calf raise. So I will try that. I only use 1 dumbbell because I support myself with the other arm. I experimented and I went back to the cable version of the calf raise, which I love, but it doesn't allow me to go not only up, but also down. So by using the cable on the floor, I can't get the full stretch. Now, I tried to get creative, and I have 4 15-pound thick plastic plates. So I made 2 stacks of 2, and I used that as the platform. But with the anchor pulling me, my balance was really off kilter. I'm going to have to read these comments later. I'm sorry. It's very hard to read. Okay, you don't wrap your thumbs up. I don't recall saying I wrap my thumbs. Okay, yeah, it's just hard for me to read these comments. So I'll check them out later. So we'll give that the old college try. So I'm going to go back to using the dumbbell where I can stand on the plates and keep my balance and get the fuller range of motion. Give that a shot. I'm always tweaking. Although my routine is pretty much set, I'm always making little modifications that will extend the range of motion, or by adding resistance band to a weighted exercise, that will keep me in the work zone much longer. So then I moved on to biceps. And for my biceps, I'm doing a version of a workout I saw from Johnny Shreed. For my triceps, I do a version of a workout I saw from Jay Cutler. So I have lots of elements of different bodybuilders. But for what Johnny Shreed suggested, everything's done with the easy curl bar, by the way. Let me preface if I stated that. I start with curls, but look at my elbows. I mean, I know you can't really see dimension here, but they're in front of my body. And I do 15 of those straight into drag curls, and I do 12 of those, and I do 3 sets. So to me, that's really 2 exercises. Theoretically, on paper, it's only 1. And I do lighter weights because it's much harder because you're doing much more reps. And then this is where I made my modification. Johnny was having us do concentration curls, but I still can't feel that. And because I don't have any faith in my dumbbells, I was doing hammer curls, but I stopped that. So I switched from hammer curls to reverse curls. Both hit the brachialis, both hit the forearm. So what I'm doing is what Johnny recommended with the concentration curls. He said, do 12, and then do 5, where you hold it, squeeze as hard as you can, and then go down as slow as you can. So I'm just doing that same thing with the reverse curl. So I do 12 or 15, depending on the weight. And then I do 5, squeeze it, go down very slowly. And I do 3 sets of that as well. So today will be shoulders and legs. I will probably break them up into 2 separate sections. So I do the cardio first, I eat breakfast, I do some things around the house, I do some things for my businesses, and I do shoulders, then I'll eat lunch, I'll do some more business activities, maybe watch Elimination Chamber on delay. Not maybe, definitely. And then do my legs later. And then I might go for a short walk afterwards. So I'll easily hit 10,000 steps again. It gets a little hard sometimes. If I don't do my cardio, there's no way I'm hitting 10,000 steps. I work at a convenience store. We own it. I go there 6 days a week for about 6 hours a day. And it's a small, cramped, shed-like structure. Maybe 6 feet by 6 feet, I don't know. But there's no room for moving. And in between customers, I try and go for short walks just to add my steps. But, you know, and I have to keep the store in sight in case somebody shows up. But it's just so hot. And it's the reason why I don't wear a shirt for these most of the time. I'm not trying to show off or anything, it's just survival. So if I'm doing, my cardio equates to about 6,000 steps a day. It's very hard to hit 10,000 without it. But I've been hitting in 12, 13 most days. Oh, since you're watching me on YouTube, I hope you're subscribed. If not, please do so. But my subscriber numbers are still growing. Slow and steady. I'm very happy if I get a new subscriber each day, as of late. But last night, I got 5 new subscribers, and that's very satisfying. I'm very realistic. I'm never going to have those million subscribers that the social media giants have. But I'm grateful for everyone that I have, and I'm grateful for everyone that I get. Mosquito bite. So to get 5 overnight is amazing for me. Absolutely amazing. At the beginning of February, my short-term goal was to have 1,600 subscribers. Well, I actually got that like in 4 days. Almost 100 subscribers in 4 days. Unprecedented, unheard of. And the month is not over, and now I'm up to a 1,637, I believe. I haven't checked it this morning. Maybe it's higher. I don't know. So, let's make a short-term goal for March to hit 1,700. It's all about short-term goals for me. In fact, in the online training platform that I work with, the Beat Studio, our weekly focus next week, our weekly focus this week was hydration. Next week is small victories. And I've been preaching that for years. So I'm very comfortable with that topic. And I have a lot of clients online, either independently or through the various platforms that I'm associated with. And a lot of them say, I want to lose 100 pounds. And I have to change their thought process. No, you don't want to lose 100 pounds in a year, for example. You want to lose 5 pounds a month. You want to lose 7 pounds a month. You have to break that big goal into smaller, obtainable goals. That once you achieve them, you can check them off and move on to the next goal. There's too much leeway if you just give yourself a year. It's easy to lose focus. You can make excuses, well, I'll make up for it later. No, you can't and you won't. Make weekly goals, not a yearly goal. Make a monthly goal if you wish. I would make both a weekly and monthly goal if I were you. Or make your goal in weight, but make it a reasonable weight. That's what I did actually. I didn't give myself a time frame. I gave myself numbers on the scale. And I'll get to that a little bit later. So I was saying to myself, okay, when I started this phase of the diet, I was 102.9. Okay, in 2 weeks, I want to be 95. And then when I achieved it, I readjusted the goal. Which is why people ask me all the time, what's your target weight? And I'm like, I'm not sure, because when I hit my target, then it changes again. As a side note, I'm happy with this 82 to 83 range. I think that's what's best for me. But my point is, don't set this big long-term goal that's so far away that it's barely within your sight. If at all. Think of it like you're working at a factory. Would you rather say I'm going home in a year, or would you rather say I'm going home every day? So, I believe in taking that time clock and punching out each day and marking my progress. So I'm a big supporter of small goals. Small, obtainable, realistic goals, achievable goals. So today will be shoulders and legs, as I was stating before. I'm distracting myself. I'm digressing, as Pat likes to say. Like to digress. So I replaced the shoulder raises because it's just like a popping in my left shoulder, which doesn't hurt, but it's annoying to hear. So I went to front raises instead. I'm using a 4-foot straight bar. I think dumbbells might have been better, but I just don't like my dumbbells. I have a constant fear that the weight is going to fly off the handle. It's just when you screw on the weight, you turn the collar, and the fact that I have to tighten it in between each set concerns me. Because sometimes when I'm doing a movement with the dumbbells, I can hear the weight sliding. When you're doing an overhead tricep extension and you hear the weight, this is a concern. So I pretty much eliminated the dumbbells from my routine until I can get a better set, whether it's a fixed set or an adjustable set. So we'll try that at the right time. Okay, guys. I've been very patient, but you just crossed my boundary. Sorry. I have been certified for 7 years. I've been training for 35 years. Yes, I've made mistakes, but I fixed them. I have 37 certificates. Please don't give me training advice. It's a sore spot. I appreciate what you're trying to do. You can share what you do, but please don't tell me what to do. You really crossed the line on that one. Sorry. I'm not trying to call you out or anything like that. I apologize for that, but I'm very sensitive to that. I appreciate everyone watching. Perhaps next time I should turn off the comments and options. So for the shoulders, I'm doing bilateral front raises to hit the anterior. And then I'm doing resistance bands lateral raises, unilateral. One arm standing perpendicular to the door with the anchor at the bottom. And I do that for 4 sets as well. The free weight, the front raise I also do for 4 sets. And then I do a unique version of the face plant. And I got this idea from internet sensation Sam Sulek, where I'm laying flat on the bench with my head towards the lateral attachment tower. I have a rope handle and I'm pulling them down towards my face, and I'm really going in a methodical, slow motion manner, getting the most out of the contraction, getting the most out of the stretch, really targeting the upper rear delts. And then I move on to shrugs, which I'm doing with resistance bands with a bar that's designed for resistance bands. Not the brand of bands that I'm using, but for bands in general. And again, I learned a lot by leaning forward slightly. I feel that it targets the traps more, and it also slightly increases the range of motion, believe it or not, from standing up straight. I don't know why, but I can go further with it, I can hold it. And then I move back to the straight bar or upright rows. So when I do shoulders and legs separately, I throw in an extra exercise. At least on the shoulder side. To be honest, not on the leg side yet, but I will. So then I rest up, I eat. And then I do legs, which I do what I call bench squats, which are very similar to box squats that powerlifters do. It's not a true squat. I could be going a little bit lower. You don't need to really, well, for me anyway, I'm trying to use the squats as a quad exercise. If you try to get your butt to touch the ground or near it, then you're including the hamstrings, the glutes, the lower back. I just want to focus on the quad, so I go just below parallel. But the height of my bench is, I would say, parallel, obviously. So I'm not going far enough, and I am ever so briefly sitting before I push up. But as I'm sitting, I do feel the stretch in the quad, so I'm okay with that for now. So I do 4 sets of those. I'm still increasing the weight on that every week. I haven't found my true zone yet since I started doing it again. And then I move on to leg extensions, in which I get to use my new 50-pound plate. I do 4 sets of that, each one 10 pounds heavier than the previous. And then I do hamstring curls. Those are getting a lot heavier. I mean, I used to do my hamstring curls, lying leg curls, if you will, were 50% of the workload that my leg extensions were. Now it's like 90%. So my calves are getting stronger proportionally than my quads. And that's not a bad thing. I've always kind of ignored my hands because I can't see them. So I don't know if they look muscular or not. I just don't know. And then I end with the calf raises, the aforementioned calf raises. So before I touched on the YouTube channel, I'm asking all of you to subscribe. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. It is growing in a slow but steady manner. It's not just cardio and it's not just training sessions or reactions to fitness videos. It is a lot of that, but it's also my career as a professional wrestler in both the United States, China, and now the Philippines. Stressed. And it's got my adventures traveling throughout Asia. Well, not throughout, 3 countries. It's much more than 3, obviously. Adventures with my wife. Mountain climbing. Going skiing. Skating on frozen rivers, diving into December rivers, amusement parks. And then when I went to Cambodia, I was solo while I was waiting for my clearance to enter the Philippines. So I have some videos there. Of course, when I got to the Philippines, not only do you have the travel videos, but you have the family videos as well. Throughout, there's restaurant videos, reviews. There's a couple of cooking segments, and believe it or not, there's a lot of segments that relate to competitive bass fishing in the Northeast. It's true. Oh, it's damn true. That's what I spent about 6 years of my time doing in between wrestling retirements. That's where I put on all that weight, by the way. I was about 220 and I blew up to 310 during that time period, and I've been working on it ever since. So now I'm down to about 180, give or take. I've written 3 books that are all available on Amazon. The first one is my autobiography as a pro wrestler. My second one is my fitness book. And it's more than just routines. There's lots of things. There's my own personal journey. It's chronicled. There's separate chapters on resistance bands, free weights, different gyms that I've gone to. I've gone to some of the most famous gyms in the world. I've been to gyms in 5 different countries. So there's a lot there. I even do movie reviews of bodybuilding and powerlifting movies and documentaries. So everything, and half the book is diet and nutrition and supplementation. And there's some descriptions about my business adventures in the fitness world as well. So that book has everything in. The third book was specifically to chronicle my life as an American teaching English in China and all of my experiences within mainland China. They're all available on Amazon in digital and paperback. I think the wrestling is also available in hardcover. I'm working on book 4. In fact, I'm on the home stretch. And that's all about all of the unusual part-time jobs and seasonal positions that I've held over my life. I know that doesn't sound interesting, but I've had some really bizarre part-time jobs. Being an underage taxi driver in New York. Working at a music venue where I got to meet a lot of famous celebrities and hang with them. And some of them were very positive interactions, and some of them, I almost got into a fight with a 50s crooner. So there's a lot there. I helped arrest James Brown's sister. So there's some good stories in there. And then, of course, I was a substitute teacher / mercenary for a year and a half. And then I became a full-time in-house substitute teacher. I didn't include my actual teaching because that doesn't fit under the category of part-time or seasonal. But within those jobs, there was other opportunities like teaching night school, heading GED programs, proctoring exams, which again all sound cut and dry, but aren't. And I'm even going to include, although it's not a part-time job, working in my store in the Philippines here, because it's a major culture shock. I have 25 years retail experience in America, part-time. While I was teaching, I would always have jobs. Most of my jobs were in wine and liquor stores, but I worked in a pet store, I worked in a call center, I worked in a home supply store. Never worked in fast food. Believe it or not. So lots of good stories there. I'll finish that one up and then it has to go through the editing process. I'm in no rush, but I feel like that's my last book. That's why I'm including elements of the Philippines, because that could probably be book 5, but it would be kind of weird to write it after only having been here 2 years. So that's something I would have to think about 10 years down the road. So you can order all of those books off of Amazon. You can also order my resistance band course off of Udemy. And what is the course? Well, it's 3 hours and 53 minutes. No, 3 hours and 43 minutes. I don't want to mislead anyone. 56 video lessons that tell you everything you want to know about resistance bands. Why even use them? Who uses them? Why not prelates? What style of band should I use? How much money should I spend? What accessories should I buy? What's the best way to hold the handles? How do I increase the resistance? And I'll give you a spoiler alert, it's more than just adding a heavier band. There's like 5 different ways that you can do it. And then there's section 2 is all about all of the exercises you can do. Section 3 is all about combining these exercises into your workout program that's best for you. We talk about nutrition. We talk about implementing advanced techniques, overall bodybuilding / powerlifting philosophies, principles, tips, hacks. I include one chapter which is my favorite resistance band exercises. It's a random set of 5. I wouldn't suggest that you do this as a workout, but just a little insight. There's lots There's probably a half hour of videos of me training in different locations throughout most of the Philippines, but a little bit of China too. There's even a blueprint, so definitely check it out. Now, Udemy sets the prices, and they set it at $44.99 based on the course itself and based on comparable courses, what they're selling for. I think that's too high. So they allow me to do one promotion per month, but they set the parameters. So the lowest price that, excuse me, they will allow me to sell it for is $12.99. So you can save $32 if you use my code. I tried to keep it as simple as possible. You got to change it each month to fool the system. But it's always going to be the first 3 letters of the month followed by the year. Now, I entered it in caps. I don't know if it's case sensitive. So right now, the discount is FEB in caps 2024, no spaces. Next month, it'll be MAR 2024, caps, no spaces, and so on and so forth. I have another course planned out. I have a curriculum. I have a syllabus all created for it. The only thing I haven't done yet is record it, which obviously takes the most time, and then all the post-production, which takes even more time. So before I undergo that, I just want to see if there's enough interest in my first course. And right now, the answer is no, there is not. I'm going to need to sell at least 20 more copies before I put myself through that struggle again. And I'm at a crossroads because I think it's a great topic, and I really want to do it. But with all the businesses that I'm running right now, or part of, my time is very limited. And that takes a big chunk of time. And, you know, the effort has got to be matched by the benefits. I mean, I got to be able to sell them. So I'm debating that. In case you're wondering, that's all about training in a home gym. A lot of us are stuck in a home gym for one reason or another. Some of you might not use the word stuck, and that's fine. So, I've been training on and off in home gyms since before I started. Before I belonged to a gym, I had a little meter bench in my basement, and it was horrible, and I hated it. And then I started going to the gym, and then I moved to New Jersey, and I bought another little weeder bench, and I hated it, and I hated going into my dark, moldy, smelling basement and being separated from everyone else. And then I joined gyms again, and then I moved, and then we had COVID, so that's when the resistance bands came into play. And now I'm here in the Philippines in a remote town. There is one gym that's actually in walking distance from me. And it's the only gym in town, but it's horrible. You know, I tried it for about 2 months, and it's antiquated, it's dirty, all the machines are broken down. More often than not, the lights are turned off. There's one ceiling fan, no air conditioning, and that's supposed to service the entire gym, which is actually just the ground floor of somebody's house. They have no interest in bringing in new machines. They have no interest in repairing the machines that they have. And they're only open from 8 to 8. And sometimes I like to train earlier, and sometimes I like to train later. So that's kind of off-putting. So I went back to training at home. Again, I have an entry-level bench, but I've made so many tweaks and modifications, and that would be a big part of the Udemy course, by the way. Is inexpensive modifications that have given me the ability to do at least, just off the top of my head, 10 more exercises than I wouldn't have been able to have done before I made these changes. And some of them are just drilling holes. One of them was adding extender tubes so I could do squats and military presses without having to bend my head below my waist to get under the bar. I purchased new handles for the pull-down tower, and of course I've upgraded the weights. What came with the bench set is lackable. Not only was it very little weight, it was 4 15-pound plates and 2 10-pound plates, but there were all these plastic ones that are filled with sand, so they're really thick and take up a lot of space on the bar. So I phased those out. I still use them for certain things, but now I have enough metal plates so I've made adjustments, I've made modifications, I've created an efficient routine for each body part, which reduces the transition from one set to another. And that was a big part of training in the home gym, is that you only got the one bench. So that when you do your flat bench presses and you max out, and then you're going on to the incline, you have to strip everything you just put on, you have to take down the bar, you have to raise the bench, you have to put the bar back on, you have to load the weight back. It's not worth it sometimes, it's just too much. So I've done a lot of things using extra bars. Like I said, drilling holes to give me more level. So now I can do a true incline press as opposed to one where the bar is across my face or beyond my reach. So drilling 2 holes in the middle of the 2 existing holes, excuse me, made a big difference. Having a small towel underneath the attachment because the machine is not level. Having rocks, or to be more precise, cinder blocks holding down. So there's so many changes that I've made here in the last 2 years. And I've really made the best out of my little sanctuary. Yes, I know the walls are pink. Yes, I know that I have roses on the curtains. And that seems to be the focus of a lot of people, and it's kind of annoying because they're not focusing on the modifications I've made, the improvements I've made in my physique. All they care about is the background. Well, I live in a rented house. There's only so much that I can do right now. We're building our new house, our new dream house. Starting March 8th, we will begin construction. And then I will have a room pre-designed to be my gym. There won't be pink walls there. There won't be flowery curtains. There won't be tiles on the floor. There'll be padding. But I'm sure as hell not going to do that for a rented house that was in horrible condition when we came here, and that we fixed up as much as we could. By the time we leave, the house will be much better than it was when we got here. And we've always been like that, my wife and I. With any apartment, we make improvements. It's always left in better condition than we got it. See, and this is one of the things that being in the Western culture you might not be familiar with, but when I lived in the West and I rented an apartment or a house, the landlord was responsible for repainting it before I got it, making any repairs, and then also being available to do maintenance as it arose. None of that applies here in the Philippines. You rent the house in an as-is condition. We had to replace all of the faucets when we came in. You wouldn't do that in America. And we've made constant repairs inside and outside. We built a carport, a garden, we fenced off the backyard area, all at our own expense. So things will be different when we're the homeowners. Now I admit, yeah, the landlord doesn't do anything for you here, but admittedly our rent is ridiculously low. But that's really not the point. I'm not going to do major changes when I know I'm leaving in a few months. And I'm also just not skilled enough. I would have to hire people. So not only am I affiliated with the Beat Studio, which you can still enroll in, it's a great online platform. You can train with me twice a week, once a week team meeting, we call it a team huddle. You're not just training with me, you're training with the team. And we compete. We have friendly competitions with the other teams within the Beat Studio system. We have challenges within the workouts, prizes, and it's motivating, it's state of the art. You can connect your pedometer and your heart rate monitor to the app. It's a built-in timer. You get both live commentary from the trainer as well as a pre-recorded demonstration of the exercise. We meet twice a week, 30 minutes a day, live, but it's also available on demand if you're unable to make it. So check it out, the Beat Studio, but also don't forget you can find me for shorter pre-recorded workouts on 99c.fit, and you can hire me privately to be your virtual trainer. Sorry for my outburst before, but I really don't like to be given advice if I didn't ask for it. It's just something that makes me uncomfortable. Okay, now I'm reading the comments and it's making me